All right, all right. Good evening, you guys. Welcome to the call. Today's call. Today is July 13th. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing to see how fast the year is going. We've already we've already passed the halfway point of the year already. And I'm super excited for this back half of the year, for the third quarter, third and fourth quarter of the year, for us to just continue forward with intention. You know what I'm saying? And then to just get closer to our goals each and every single day, you guys. So with that being said, we are going to be going and diving straight into our weekly outlook for this week. I'm pretty excited. I actually have a couple of things that I'm looking at right now, a couple of trades that I've already started to execute on for the week. This is one of my favorite trading weeks of the month, trading day weeks of the month. This is going to be the week to where we have our CPI news. CPI news typically falls between the 11th and the 13th, but this week I believe it's going to fall on the 12th, right? Or excuse me, on the 15th, the Tuesday, the 15th, we'll have our USD CPI news. So CPI is my favorite news. It's one of the only news events that I actually trade. Like if I said that there was only one day out of I'm gonna one day out of the entire year or out of the entire month, I should say, that I would want to be active in the market, it would be CPI news. It's been one of my most profitable days for, really as long as I can remember. It's a day to where let's go over here and we'll hop back. I'm gonna hop on to share my screen. We'll go through the news and then we will talk about just like what the news is coming out. How does it typically affect the market? I like to look back and see how we've seen it affect the market in the past. Um, just to kind of get a gauge for it. There's a number of different news events, and typically, I tend to focus on the fundamental, or excuse me, on the technical analysis side of things, right? And I kind of have the fundamentals as a secondary, um, something that I view after the fact, right? But the fact is that I shouldn't say that I view after the fact because I always view the news early, but I typically feel as though the news is just an accelerator that's going to help the market to move to where it's already supposed to move to faster, right? It's going to make things go quicker, right? So there's a couple of different news events, and there's certain news events like FOMC that typically swings the market in different directions. NFT that can be very volatile. It can kind of swing in both directions sometimes. The news event that I love is the CPI news. And the reason why is because it is typically one directional, right? Whenever there's CPI news, the market is typically spending the beginning of the week, Monday, Sunday, just simply setting up for that bigger move, right? Sometimes what I look for is I look to see what structures are we trading into. We might not be ready to move away from that structure right away, but what structures are we trading into, that the market will eventually trade away from, once there is a catalyst, right? So we have CPI news for the CAD, the Canadian dollar, as well as the US dollar coming out at the exact same time. We've got month over month. We've got core CPI. We've got CPI year over year. And essentially, what this is saying is that the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers. That's what it measures, right? The change of the price of goods and services purchased by consumers. So, with that being said, if this number comes out and it is a positive number, greater than forecast is going to be very good for the currency. The currency in question, of course, is going to be the US dollar, right? On the other side, we also have CAD news. So we have CAD CPI news, same thing. The change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. You know what would be a crazy thing to happen this week? This is not a prediction by any chance or I'm not making any predictions right now. But if the US dollar was to was to come out with some positive news while the CAD maybe didn't have the same thing, I would see USD pairs like USD CAD go through the moon. You know what I'm saying? That would be some of the pairs that I would look to trade this week because as a retail trader, we are looking for volatility. So volatility, we've got some CNY news that'll be coming out tomorrow on Monday. Uh, that's not going to be what I'm going to be focused on. I'm going to be really looking for what happens on Tuesday with the CPI news. Following that, we've got PPI news on the Wednesday, and then we've got some employment change and unemployment rates for the Australian dollar, as well as GBP, CPI news as well, right? So with all that being said, some of the currencies, some of the pairs that I'm going to focus on for the week, are going to be obviously US dollar based pairs, right? It is also going to follow up and be some Canadian. We're going to take a look at USD CAD, Great British Pound, the Australian dollar as we were previously. And then we have unemployment claims and core retail sales on Friday. So this is a news heavy week for the dollar, right? It's going to be action all week. And we just want to go ahead and take a look at this time and see, kind of how is the market setting up for us, right now. I'm going to be, let me pull this off to the side. Let me see, so I can monitor my live accounts because we got some accounts that are running right now. Da da da. Breach internal lows. Took the lows. We just took profits on this. So for gold, we'll talk about some gold. We'll talk about gold as well and what we could possibly see on that. This is a futures chart. It's not our typical Forex chart. Um, I tend to like kind of viewing our futures charts as well because the price is very clean, right? Price is very, very clean. I feel like it's very accurate on the futures chart, so I kind of take a look at those as well. So as we get started off, of course, after taking a look at the news, I said that we're going to be focused on the dollar for this week. This chart here on the dollar is one that is very curious to me. As we can see, it's very easy to see what the direction of the market has been for the entire year so far. JJ, for the reason why I look at the dollar is certain things while the dollar gains in value, other pairs or if the dollar falls in value, other currencies that trade against the dollar, even things like gold, will be affected by that. So I always try to start off doing a review of the dollar. And as we look at it, it's very easy to see from the beginning of the year to where we are today how how prices move, right? We can see this has been a very, very bearish year for the dollar. We've been on a nonstop just sell off. It's actually been probably one of the easiest trades that you can take just trading against the dollar. Every time we come back and test this trend, we're selling. Every time we come back and test this trend, we're selling. Every time we come back and test this trend, we're selling. Right now, as I've said before, I'm starting to become a little bit more cautious of my selling. And I don't want to say it like that, but because I still think that the dollar is selling, but at the exact same point, there's going to be certain areas or certain places that the dollar bounces from, right? We see that markets are breaching, we're breaching lower, we're testing, and then we breach lower. We're creating just more and more interest to the sell side. It seems as though we've just seen the exact same thing happen again. We have our lows here on the dollar, lows here on the dollar, lows here on the dollar, lows here on the dollar. Prices now just pulled back, and we are actually testing that exact same trend line again. I know a lot of people will ask the question, wait a minute, but I see that you didn't, why did you go through points like this? Like, why did you, yeah, it looks like it's touching perfectly, but if you look above, it broke above. Essentially, for me, the way that I do this, and I can't say it's the same for everybody, but I just want, it only takes two lines to create or 2 points to create a trend, right? So it doesn't matter what 2 points those are. I always go, of course, from the peak to the next high, I can use the wick or I can use the body, right? Or the next high, right? And now you start to see, wait a second, but you just said that this was the next high, but then you pulled the line down and you kind of I made it a little bit tighter, right? This is important. It makes it's relevant, you know what I'm saying? But at the exact same time, if I pull it through, this would give me just one touch, but this now gives me one, two touches. So this trend is stronger than this trend, right? And at the exact same point, I can start to see what happened here. There was a break above this trend line to where we had a liquidity scoop or liquidity sweep above this bearish candle, but price was immediately rejected and sent back into range. After that, we get a pullback to that same level and price sells off from there. That makes this trend where we're currently trading at very, very strong to me, right? And I'm going to just continue to do that. That's why you'll see me sometimes we'll go through price or we'll go above price. This is kind of a similar thing. We saw a breakout above and then price rejected and came back into structure, right? Just that shows that, okay, cool. We tried to go long, but there was still more sell side pressure that we needed to. I might close this and just take my monies for now based on what I'm seeing. We did get a break below, as you can see, but we didn't break the external lows, right? We liquidity scoop here, took out the lows, lows, lows. Price traded back in, but we did not take that out. I got a perfect entry in at the top. I'm expecting, in a sense, like I want to see if price is going to pull back, into like a fib level, somewhere in here. Maybe I'll just go ahead and I'll put my stop profit in here and I'll just leave that alone and we'll get back to it. So with that being said, but this is also kind of going against what I just said. So uh with that being said, we have point, touch, 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 breakthrough, touch. You can see this black candle right here. Even though we broke through, there was a point at which price came back and it tested and it used this as a support and it bought off of it before we came back into structure. We see price comes and sells again, and it brings us to where we're trading at right now, right? It brings us back to where we're trading at right now. Let's see if I can make this as tight as we can. It seems pretty good to me. Some people might even use this as that last candle. But this seems pretty good to me. And what I'm seeing just from looking at that, it seems as though we are just making lower lows. The dollar is just like steadily just weakening. You know what I'm saying? It's just getting weaker and weaker. You'll see me alternate between a couple of different charts using the DXY, the dollar index, which is a basket of currencies, and the US dollar. I've been using that one as well, right? I'll go back and forth in between the two of them. But I like how the US dollar looks right now. It kind of looks it's pretty clear, pretty crisp. I'm gonna clean up my chart as we go, you guys, and I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit so we can get into some of the pairs that we'll be looking at right now. I know that you guys want to do reviews on, things like gold. I know that you guys want to, look at, some of those pairs like that. So we'll get into that as well. But I always like to start off here with the US dollar. So what I'm seeing is on the dollar, from the higher time frames, it seems as though we've broken the lows and price is, retesting inside of this level here. And it seems like we could continue to sell from here on the dollar. If the dollar weakens, then other pairs against the dollar are going to strengthen, right? So what does that mean? How do I look at this, right? When I look at the dollar, there's a couple of things that I see here. Number one, I see these equal or nearly equal lows. We have them here. We have them here. Here and here. One and two. Can you guys all see that? If you guys all see how these are like relatively equal lows, they're not exactly even, but it is, basically like equal lows. This is structure here. Let me know if you guys see that. Let's see a response in the chat. Say it makes sense. in the chat if you do see that there. Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. So that's something that I always look for, right? So I look for where we see these equal lows. And then I look to see where does price actually take out those equal lows, right? We did trade below this. We liquidated, any of these orders that were here. If there were buys here, buys here, buys here, buys here, we just took them out, right? So whenever I see equal lows, I look to the right to see if there's any structure, any like order blocks or any areas to where prices previously like been to and resisted before. When I look for that, I see this level right here, where we have this block prices trading into it, then we get a rejection, and then we break through. We leave a little bit of an imbalance here, you guys. This area is an imbalanced area, right? To where we have, because in the market, there's buyers and there's sellers. So if there's a buyer, there has to be a seller for every buyer. If you look at things like this, like we have sells, all of these are sells, black candle, sell, sell, sell. There becomes an equal buyer for every one of those sellers. Same thing here. Sell, 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 buy, buy, buy. Buy, 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 sell, sell, sells. In this area here, we had all of these buys, but there was no seller candles that came into this area yet. We came close right here. So this could be where the market, rejects from. We scooped swept liquidity. We came close to this block. I don't think that we came close enough for my own you know, personally. I think that we can come a little bit closer potentially. See if we actually get a reaction off of this level here. And then I would see, look to see. All right. So now we are here. What do you want to do, Wale? I think I am going to add to my order. So, okay. This is just, I should probably put this on a different screen. I just actually did notice that price is where I wanted it to be. Trading really light on a Sunday too, just hanging out. So with that being said, you guys, US dollar, there's a couple of things that I think that could happen. Price can actually start to turn here, right? We can start to see a turn. We did go ahead and take out the lows and we did pull into, kind of closer into here. We got a rejection from that point. Maybe we start to see something turn. Maybe we get another sell, right? Maybe price continues to sell into this level here and then we get a bounce, right? What does that mean for the currencies that we're about to review, right? If price sells into here, sells into structure, right? We take out these, we already took out the lows, but we sell back into this range right here, and then we bounce and turn from here. That means that other pairs against the dollar are going to do the opposite. They're going to buy to sell, rather than selling to buy. What's going on here? All right. If this sells though from here, that means that it would continue to push gold to the buy side, right? Which obviously means that that trade that I just looked at on my own personal screen would be invalidated. It would go to stop. That would be perfectly fine. I'm obviously prepared for that. Without that being said, if price bounces from here, then what we would actually see is we would see things like gold sell off. We would see things like GBP USD. We might see them sell, rather than buying, what I'm saying, if price started to pick up and buy from this level here. So I just kind of use the dollar as a gauge, what I'm saying? Like I like to just kind of use it as a reference point for me. It is, you know, I, I I like to use it as a reference point for me as I go through, my stuff. You feel me? So with that being said, that's the dollar. I'm gonna go ahead and jump over to my USD list here. And we'll go through it just little by little. We were able to take buys off of this range this past week, right? What I'm seeing now is that we have actually come into on this dollar. It seems like we have come into we've traded back into the level where price previously broke down from, right? We've kind of come back into here just a little bit. We didn't come exactly to that point, but We have tested it. This is an area to where, again, like I think that the dollar has potential to reject, to come and sell lower. We can see the dollar pull back into areas like this, maybe even pull back into here. Maybe we get something like this, a small pullback here to take out these internal lows, maybe mitigate this imbalance here. Some of these things are, bearish indicators for me, and maybe we get buys off of that, right? That could be something that we see. I don't know if that's what we see, but this could be something that we see. This would be a level that I would look for. I would look to see if the dollar does come back and retest any of these. There's a lot of imbalances in the market as we see it right now, right? We've got imbalances here, right? That price could trade into. We have imbalances up here. We've got gaps up here. Even though the dollar is, clearly been bearish all year, there's plenty of room for pullbacks on the dollar, right? In my opinion. With that being said, we would see different pairs, but then we have things like this. This was a USD CHF call from last week to where this one is actually playing out, pretty perfectly just as well. I don't know where price trades to. Maybe we go ahead and we get that exact same pullback. So that means now these are the pairs that we can trade, right? We were just talking before about just the dollar in itself, which we're not placing trades on the dollar, but we are placing trades on pairs like USD CHF, which will move in alignment with the dollar, right? USD CHF, this is actually kind of set up perfectly right now. Risk to reward is about a 1-4. We would expect to see price come and trade into this imbalance here and then to potentially target these lows, right? There's another area here to where I believe price can trade to. And then we might see a bounce from here, right? It's going to do whatever the dollar does. If the dollar goes and pulls back and then bounces, if it makes this move, there will probably be a bigger correction on USD CHF than what we're seeing now. But what I like about this, to kind of explain what I'm seeing here and why I would even, you know, alert my eyes to this, right? I love this kind of a structure here to where we see equal lows, equal lows, equal lows, right? We're making equal lows, but we're making lower highs. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Equal low, equal low, equal low, right? This third one here. And then I'm going to move this just so we can see it. Equal low, equal low, equal low, lower high, and then we finally breach the lows and we get a lower low. So now we have higher lows or we have lower highs and lower lows. When price comes back and we need 2 points to create the trend, right? When price comes back, we go ahead and we do that again and we get another rejection. Now, if I were to take this black candle, and if you see this previous white candle, right? If I were to take that candle and just engulf it and then pull it to the side, what you would see is where I took the trade from or called the trade from is the pullback to that exact same level here, right? Exactly where price traded away from this breach here. That's where I ended up taking these, calling this sell from in this area, right? So now that's how I find the entry. We're trading back within structure. Now I'm looking to see where does price trade to. We should definitely trade back to at least this level here. If not, we should trade back into here. And then we could see buys from that point, or we could see, the market target the lows. With that being said, we would look at buys on things like AUD, USD, because the dollar is selling, right? Buys on AUD, USD. I actually love this as well. We had earlier buys on AUD, USD. I don't know if you guys remember us calling this. That was about 3 weeks ago to where we looked for the entries here. We looked at these equal lows at the bottom, which if you guys are hearing, there's a common trend here. We're seeing equal lows. We see big imbalance. We see price come in, trades into that level, and then trades away from it. Now, what do we do again as price trades away from it? That's on the 4-hour time frame. We see now on the 1-hour time frame, we do the exact same thing again. We create equal lows, right? An imbalanced area here to where you can already see I have an alert here. That alert was probably set on one of our last calls, our calls from last week. So I've got an alert set here. I'd be looking to enter long if price comes and takes out these lows, right? You can see like we've created a we've created like it's been at these highs for quite a while. We have this area here to where price can trade back into. It's kind of like an imbalanced zone, up here to where we can see price trade back to. And then we can see what happens from here, right? Because now, once price gets there, what do we do next? How do we trade from there, right? We wait, right? It could either come to this point and reject, right? And we see some big bearish like sells at this level here. You can see 665, right? Maybe we see sells come in. Or if we break above here, then we get like a retest right here and we continue to buy, right? In order to continue to buy, I would want to see price trade into here first. So the trade that I would look at would actually look more like this than, buying from where we're currently at, right? I would probably enter here with my stop loss, maybe in here, 50 pips looks good. And then if price goes and breaks above here, then I would probably want to enter again. And at this point, I'm probably taking this trade. I don't even know where I'm taking the trade. I'm not gonna, do too much predicting. But this is essentially how I would take something like this with what I'm seeing right now. I do want to see a pullback, but after the pullback, I want to see how we respond to these levels up here. Do we test it or do we reject? Let's move on. With that being said, we're also in our NZD. We call this NZD USD trade from this past week as well. NZD USD in reality, the way that this is setting up a little bit, I would love to see further short side on NZD USD. That would, of course, be in alignment with, what I would want to see is I'd want to see a pullback to this, back into here, and then probably see us trade away from it at that point. So what it seems like to me is that I'm looking for maybe sells on the dollar to start the week, maybe buys later on, buys on some of the pairs against the dollar, maybe, and then sells, maybe. We'll see. I'm not really quite sure. Euro USD, I like it a lot. We've actually just breached below this area here. This kind of to me makes me feel like we can get sell side on Euro USD. We potentially have price trade back into, maybe this area here, and then see sells from here, right? That would be one of the biggest opportunities for this week that I'm seeing as of right now. This would be insane. That would be a beautiful setup, beautiful trade, all that. This is one second, guys. Yeah, you guys can unmute. If anybody has any questions, let me make sure I'm checking the chat. Chat's not talking. How y'all feeling? Talk to me, talk to me. I'm just updating my own stuff over here, you guys. Making sure I'm managing my trades, managing my risk. All right, cool. So nothing in the chat. Let's keep on going. Lows, 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 right? We have a little bit of an imbalance here, and then we can see price come back into, let's see what we have in the chat. We can see price come back in. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thanks for the confirmation. We can see price come back. You see these even lows again. Anytime I see even lows, it makes me raise an eyebrow. When I first started trading, we always learned like double tops and double bottoms. We would always just buy and sell here. But at this point now, like I do see sometimes on higher time frames where you can buy and sell from those double bottoms and double tops, but oftentimes they get targeted and there's often a level below to where price can trade to quite easily just to like, retest what it's done from a previous move. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's somewhere like in here. Sometimes it's, somewhere in here. Sometimes it's a lot lower. You know what I'm saying? But what I might see, and I like this on Euro USD, pullbacks into about 1.73, 1.72 area. And then if we see some big sells from there, that would be fantastic. This would be beautiful, you guys. I don't believe price needs to trade above here. So ultimate stop losses are like 1.77. You know what I'm saying? That's from my previous trade, from my earlier trade, where I would be looking to enter this one would be something like maybe this, right? And obviously none of these are trade calls, you guys. This isn't just me. I'm kind of just getting a gauge on where I see the market is trading at right now. right? Making sure that even if there is a potential for an opportunity that it falls within my rules, it's a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio trade setup or better. Both of these are, that is fantastic. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Let me see if I get hit at break even right here. Let me see. All right. Anyways, I like this a lot. I like this a lot. This to me is fantastic. So what does that mean for you, Wale, right now? Today, Sunday, low volume, low volatility. I don't expect too much. It's the beginning of the week and it's the beginning of a big news week. So you guys shouldn't want to have to like rush to get into any trades or feel like you're obligated, like I need to make money today because the money that you made Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it might all just be resting on Tuesday for this week. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, just prepare yourself, preserve your capital, get ready to place your trades on Tuesday, and then to oh no, let me see. I forgot that I took it on this account also. Man, I took it on my live. Wait, is it open or wait, which order was filled? Oh no, I'm still in here. What's going on? 1 second, guys. Okay, that was a different trade. All right. Anyways, um, yeah, I like this a lot, a lot, a lot, to be honest. This would be something that I keep eyes on. I would risk 0.25% on this 1.72, 1.7, 1 point.
Order filled. Order
Um,
filled.
oh, is that mine that I'm hearing saying order filled, or is that somebody else? That's gotta be somebody else's. 1.172. All right, 1.1. Hey, John, if you got trades, make sure you sending them to me as well. You know what I'm saying? 9.1, 1.172.
I got
Perfect. Because I hear somebody going off, but I see somebody's stuff lighting up over there. All right. Um, Potential sell side. All right. All right. Excellent. Anyways, GBP USD, GBP USD. We called this one last week, and we actually caught a big buy here. That was for like 60 pips. 45 here. Where'd I get in at? And price came back, and we traded back in the structure. I think that GU, I don't like it as much. I think we could see the exact same thing, kind of a pullback into this area here, and then we potentially see some sell side from, oh no, okay. We potentially see some sell side from that point in time. No, okay. And we potentially see some sell side from that point in time. But all of that is just waiting on it. I would love to see maybe buys from this level on GU. We also have some areas down here that price could trade into and trade away from. So just kind of waiting on all of those things, you guys. Again, it's a big news week this week. So it's good to be patient. I do see, and everything is actually aligning. This is not a week to where there's a lot of conflict in my mind. I'm not really seeing it like that. Sometimes we get on here, it's like, oh, wait, this is saying this, but this is saying this, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some conflict which makes us like a little bit wary. But in most of what I'm seeing is there's some commonalities, right? I do see potential for the dollar to sell, which the dollar is selling, right? With that being said, USD CHF is also showing signs of selling, right? We're also seeing AUD USD with signs of buying. We can go ahead and see where do we think that it can buy from or sell from or, buy to. We do believe that price can buy into this area here. That's about 70 pips from where price is at now. Would that present the best risk to reward sell setup or buy setup for me? Maybe I end up looking at, the sells. Maybe it doesn't do what I want it to do here like this. Maybe it ends up being something more like this. And price trades right to my level. And then we end up seeing rejections from that point, and price trades lower here. And then we trade away. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen for sure. I just go ahead and look at what are possible scenarios where price can or markets can, trade in the way that I view the markets. Like, what is the way that it lines up in the best way? With that being said, you guys, um, yeah, this there are I do see buys on GU. I don't know where the buys are coming to. It could just be short-term buys to the sell, and then we get the bigger buys that come eventually. That could be what we're looking at. And then of course, let's go ahead and look at the indices, right? NASDAQ, because I know you guys love NAS. All right. This to me looks like the move for the week, yo. This looks like this could like play out for us all week. Right now on NAS, what we're seeing is we've taken highs, right? There's a little bit of a peak above here. Price is starting to reject. There is this structure here that price has respected. This is one of the easiest things for me to trade right now because all you have to do is wait. You don't have to make any decisions. You don't have to rush. You don't have to do anything like that. There's two ways that I think markets could go, right? It's either going to go up or it's going to go down. It could go sideways, but it's already going sideways. So now it's like, what does it do next? Do we trade above, trade into this? Can I annotate on my own screen or how would I do that? Let's see. Um, yeah, we could do something like this. Boom, 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 boom. Eventually, oh, can I show you guys some? Not to brag or anything like that, but am I still annotating? Stop the annotation. Stop that. But this is how we're kickstarting the week. I'm going to show you. Oh, no. Clear this. Clear off all of the annotations. How do I do that? Annotate? No. Annotate. Oh, here it is. Uh, you better keep on dropping until I'm done talking. All right. Up $158. Okay, exit this. We're going to pull one position here. No, I'm going to pull. That's it. I'm going to pull one more. All right. 147 for the day. Solid. Trading very conservative. It's a Sunday. Anyways, all right. Back to what we were talking about. So we can expect to see price trade in this area here. You see we're making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, equal lows, relatively equal lows. There's a couple of things that we can look for the market to do. Either we're going to break the high, we will retest, which will be our entry, and we look to take buys long on NAS, right? That's one option. That's remember what we said from last week. Last week we looked at this imbalance. We looked at price trading back into that area here, and then we took the buys. These are the buys that we took last week. I also took sells in here after that. I see the chat. Let me go ahead and check that out, you guys. I'm keeping eyes on it. But that's one option. Next option. This option will be very similar to what we just saw on what pair was that? I don't remember what pair we were just looking at, but what we just saw was that we compressed in this way. We made even lows, but we made lower highs. Then all of a sudden, what we saw was we saw where price came in and we breached the lows. The lower highs ended up turning into lower lows, which is what we're looking for. Oh, maybe I should annotate the same way. Let me see. Da 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 da. Let me see what the chat's talking about. Good. Breaking 2300, breaking 2300 up in here. I love that. I think that has to happen. And I'll talk to you why I think that'll happen. Um, but let me continue with this annotation. So the next thing that we've seen happen is we saw, or let me have to do it like this. I got to stop it first. Okay. So I can zoom in a little bit. We saw lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. We saw even lows. On the last pair, what we saw next is we saw something like this, a pullback into here, and then we saw a big break of the lows. After this break of the lows, you get a pullback into structure, and this would be probably one of the safer options to where now you put your stop loss. Sorry guys. Bum, 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 bum. Your stop loss below, or I guess no more annotation. So it would be something like this. Stop losses above the highs, and then the lows would be to target these lows. These are very strong, so it's no saying that it just hits like that. But this would be the trade if we were to like break below here, right? We break below, maybe we pull back into here and we test this trend line one more time, and then we get a bigger sell, right? Sometimes what I like to do, because it just helps me to stay on track, I try to paint a picture in my mind. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm looking at that level for price to trade back to. What does the market need to do in order to validate that? You've seen that I just pulled this out. The zero level that I'm working from here is actually not something that exists. I just made it up. But what I did was this would be the high where the market sold from. And if I looked at this level or this level as the structure that I want price to trade back into at the retest of this trend line, where would this one need to be? So now if price does, and it's no saying that that happens, but if price does trade here and then price does trade away from there, it would make me extra confident that I would, maybe want to take the sells, into, taking out these lows and then breaching these internal lows and then maybe testing this block right here. I see that as a potential. That's something that I like a lot. Oh, I forgot I have trades open right now. No. Oh, am I still in this? Oh, wait a minute. No. Hmm. Oh, I'm sick. I'm sick right now, man. Oh my goodness, Lord. God will give me another opportunity. Oh gosh. Yo, let me tell y'all, bruh. I had a buy limit on Euro NZD at 1.940. I'm gonna show y'all in the chat where my pending order hit 1.940. Where did that even happen at? Right here? Where did that happen at today? Right here. And it did not execute my trade, bruh. It did not execute my trade. That's that pain. And then we're up 70 pips already. Um, gosh, that's that hurt for real. And it came exactly to where I wanted it to come to. Exactly. This is beautiful. I might still just enter this trade. I think I'm gonna just enter it anyways, to be honest. That's that pain. Anyways, guys, let's keep on going. We'll take a look at gold. Um, oh, so you said 2,300 for Nas. Wow, this is
23,000.
23,000. My
I think it
apologies.
I think it could possibly break it this week.
Yeah, I think I like let me see. So what is all of this stuff on my charts? Oh, that's a candle. That's not even a markup. It's just a crazy candle. This is not the NAS chart that I was just looking at that I just marked up. All right. All right. So what we want to see in order for me to feel confident in that, I mean, this would be honestly like if you wanted to take a riskier trade, like this is like, if we're saying that this is a range, I used to sometimes like to trade in the ranging markets because we would just look to, sell at the tops and then buy at the bottoms until it broke. You know what I'm saying? We are technically like trading back at the bottom. This is the peak low. This is the low within here. We do have these lows here, so I don't know how I feel about that. We could see price trade back into here, and then maybe you see price buy from that point. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that buys come because even if it sells, I believe a retest happens. You know what I'm saying? We've also seen we did see Nas and S&P make all-time highs. This, do you guys remember me calling this one last week? I know y'all gotta remember. Who somebody remembers this trade? Somebody remembers me saying that we needed to have US 30 buy back into the highs, and I don't know if it's gonna make new highs because S&P and Nasdaq both made all-time highs, but uh, this one had not done so yet. So I was like, we have to at least buy here, and then we see how markets respond. We bought here. We did not make higher highs. We actually made a lower high, and then price has rejected here, right? Now we're doing the same thing. If you realize it, a lot of these pairs are doing the exact same thing to where they're creating, these even lows in here. These even lows could be super supportive and it could just like, oh, market just made even lows and then it just went off to the next high. That's super possible. And often if we saw NAS and S&P make all-time highs, we would expect the same from US 30 as well. We haven't quite seen that. But as long as we're trading above this area here, I'm not looking for sells yet. If we were to come and take out these bearish bullish candles, did you take the NZD, the Euro NZD trade? Man, I got to go back and look at that. I had to separate from it a little bit, so I just didn't, so I wasn't just emotional because that just really bothered me, anyways. So I'm gonna come back to that in just a moment. But we've got an imbalance here. We could see price trade back into this level again, call the exact same trade. Eventually, if we keep on trading between these highs and lows, these lows will break eventually, especially if we're not making higher highs. This is a lower high, so that is confirmed, right? All right, now let's get into, we'll just go over the JPY basket just very quickly. You guys obviously know we're selling. I was a seller of NZD or these JPY pairs. JPY basket itself is in a beautiful place, right? We've taken out all those lows down there. Let's go to the higher time frame. We're trading back into structure perfectly here, right? JPYs have potential to. I feel like I feel like this could do the dash. Like I feel like we could see some movement on here. It's been just very weak, so we don't have any confirmation on that. So I'm not really trying to lock in or focus too much on it. But I couldn't help but seeing just where we're trading from, right? This is a super structure right here. This is a great level right here for price to trade away from. We've got a bit of an imbalance up here. Maybe we see price trade a little bit higher. We got a gap up there as well. But I just love where we're trading from on all of these JPYs, especially the ones that are at quarter points, 107.5. We've been at these exact same levels for like 3 weeks at these perfect quarter points, right? Or we have like that's at least for CAD JPY. We got to look at USD CAD because that could be one of the trades of the week, uh, potentially. 1.725, we just traded away from the quarter on Euro JPY. That quarter comes at the same level where we got this big rejection. So we're seeing the JPY pairs, all at the top of these ranges. They're all like trading into this level to where it's like, yeah, they've been here and they've rejected from here. We've got the this block right here. We've rejected from here. Like all of the JPYs look like they could move, you guys. I don't know. I don't know how many, because I could take the trades from here, from where we are now, right? Let me see if the risk to reward, because I might still just enter it. You guys know I've still been holding them on my side. I think that this is about to fail. This looks like a trade right here, right now. This looks like we get failure right in here. And I'm looking at where we're at right now, right? You see this doji, you see this previous structure here. You see where price is now rejected from there. We closed, we gapped down, we mitigated this imbalance, pulled right back in here perfectly, traded right below that doji, right back into structure. This is something to where I would see sell side on pairs like AUD JPY. That's a crazy trade right there, to be honest. And all the JPY basket has to do is flinch. If it even flinches, if it even flinches, this is going to sell. 1 to 6 risk to reward trade setup. $25 stop loss. $97. I'll be putting like 97.1, even though I call it like exact. I'd be like, I'll put a little extra space on there. 97.1. And that looks interestingly very good for me. I like it a lot. And it reminds me that, again, you guys, we have AUD news on Wednesday. Major news. If that comes out and it's bearish, we could see some, movement in the market on that one. A lot of these look like they're looking to fail. We even have GBP JPY trading back into structure here. We've got this same, lower highs coming in here, but we're seeing the same kind of price action breakdown. Some of these gaps, some of these imbalances on all of these pairs, you know what I'm saying? With price potentially looking to trade back within that structure. That's already moving. You guys see how that's already moving. First thing that we should do is we should target these lows right here. AUD sells to me correspond with NZD sells, which correspond with Euro NZD buys. This trade is gone for me, guys. It's just, it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to take the L's. Don't matter. Ouch. Ah, all right. Who's on here? Sometimes, sorry, guys. I got like this. I got somebody need me in the ribs today in training and I'm feeling it. So here's how I do this. Like people be like, oh my goodness, I didn't catch my trade, da 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 da. It's okay. Your trade was right. So if your trade was right and you're like, no lie, my guide, Jigga Man, take that money, my boy. Take that money, my boy. I'm here for it, bruh. I love to see that. You know what I'm saying? Um, oh wait, am I still in that other trade? Let me check this other account. Hold on, because we were definitely just in a gold trade on my futures account, weren't we? Where is that? Oh, beautiful. Lord have mercy. See, look, and that's with me taking partial profits, you guys. So we're going to go and look at gold as well. This is a really conservative trade. We're up almost $300 for the day so far. What I need to see happen right now. So let's go to the gold chart so that you guys can track on your Forex gold charts. XAU USD because there may still be some opportunity. For me, what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see, I don't think price is trading back in here. We might see the top of gold. Let me tell you why. And if we see the top of gold, then, we might see that 23,000 on NAS, if gold is, I'm actually going to buy from here or sell from here. What do I want to do? Do I want to say that this is the low, we're rejecting here, and I peel one more position with the expectation that we might pull back? Do I let it take out? We actually just took that level right now. We should trade lower 33.71. Even though this doesn't directly correspond with your charts, you guys, price action is price action. You can translate and see these exact same moves. Let's go ahead and look at gold on your charts, though, so we can go ahead and see what opportunities there are. I'll let you know why it is that I'm taking sells. If anybody remembers the trade that I called on gold, remember we were trading gold at about 33.20, right about here. Remember? And we were like, oh, there's two different directions that gold can go. Like, I feel like it can go, we can see sells come in or we can see the buys come in, but we're kind of trading in the middle here. I'm like, the reason why I'm not like, pushing like that is because I believe that we need to buy back to the number that I said was 33.75. We were at 33.25 right here. And we were going to trade quarter to quarter from 33.25 to 33.50 to 33.75 to mitigate this imbalance. From the time that that part actually happens, we can see rejections coming in, right? Big rejections can come in at that level. We can see a push above 33.75 really should be it. You see, we came close. We didn't even get directly to that number. And we've seen some big rejections coming from it. So now what we should see is pretty aggressively, I think that we should see another 15-minute candle. This 15-minute candle should close bearish, right? We may see another 15-minute candle that pulls us in to mitigate this imbalance, right? And then we may see a pullback back into this previous structure, back into where price just rejected from. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, this is phenomenal. This is beautiful, but there's a bigger trade here, right? If gold rejects and breaks this 33.50 level, I would be looking to take further sells back to 33.25. And even more so than that, I'm really looking to see 32.75, which is like a full 1,000 pips from where we are right now. It's a full thousand, full thousand, full thousand. So you guys, how can I justify that? Well, again, if I do get my buys on the dollar at any point in time, whether it's a buy from here, you know, and the thing is that gold is actually selling while the dollar is still buying. Very, very curious. You know what I'm saying? But if I start to see that, see those assets change, then I might have an opportunity there, right? So with that being said, that's what I have for you guys this week. Beautiful sell-off on AUD JPY. Congratulations to anybody who took the trade. You're already up about, what is that, 13 pips. What we're expecting to happen now as we monitor this is we want to see a break below this level. That's the next key. For me, as I trade, I'm just looking for more and more and more confirmations, right? Because I want my position to be as sizable as it can be. I want a fat position with low risk. You know what I'm saying? So what I might do is I might wait for the breaks here and get a chance to enter another position, a compounded position even. You know what I'm saying? And take trades to the exact same point. A break below here. Oh, wait, did I do the funny RSI trick with you guys? Where's the chart that I did that on? Did I not do that on this chart? My imaginary RSI. Was that not this one? I thought that was this one. I don't remember what it was, but I'm gonna do it again. So I'm gonna use my imaginary fibs and I'm gonna say, where do I want to say that price traded away from? I guess it would be right here. This is the most recent highs, right? And I see pullbacks into here. Structure, test the structure would be right there. Then I have this little imaginary zone. This is all make believe, you guys. It doesn't exist. I just created it, but use my creativity, right? So this is what I'm looking for now. This is what I'm looking for now. Huh. All right. This is what I'm looking for now. Oh, we're running in profits though, you guys. We're up a fat trade right now. What do I want to do here? Sell, buy, exit. We just breached. Price can trade back into here. I'm up $218 for the day so far, $72 floating. Structure is right here. We are going to look at this as our structure. We can expect to see price trade back into here. You guys, this is on, oh wait, I already have those lines. I already have the lines there. So let me delete this. Potentially something like this. So should I even hold the trade or should I just look to re-enter if it's going to come all the way back to my entry? I'm going to just hold the trade because it's not guaranteed that it comes all the way back to my entry, right? We could see rejections from here. We could see rejections from my entry. Yeah, yeah, right. Um, AUD is moving. That was a beautiful trade. I love that, bro. I love when we can get in some money on the call. Hopefully, my boy. Oh, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Won the day, won the trade already. It's only Sunday, guys. All right. So this is what I'm looking for. We saw the rejections here. Let's go ahead and say, why are we feeling confident in this trade? We're going to just focus on the one that is winning. Why do I feel confident in this trade? Market opens, we get a gap, price gaps down, creates an imbalance. We come back and we immediately mitigate that. We fill that imbalance here, so this spacing here for anybody that's new, this is technically considered like a gap. All the gap represents is this is where the market opened, but this is how the market moved while over the weekend. It's not that the markets just stopped moving. We just weren't able to participate, right? With that being said, price now trades back in to fill that imbalance, right? To fill that gap. All a gap really is, it's like an imbalanced area, to where we just came back and we mitigated that imbalance. And then we have our big bearish engulfing rejection candles. This rejection candle back into previous structure, bearish engulfing candle, is like, we can sell from here, right? We're making a lower high. The JPY basket on the opposite side is responding extremely bullishly, coming off of a block that we've previously seen, right? We're on the 30-minute time frame. We have this bearish engulfing candle. And then now we have all of these lows that can be targeted. We take out all these lows to the buy side, and then price trades back in. What's going to happen at this point, or what I can expect to happen, I try not to speak in like guarantees. What's going to, I try to say what I expect to, or I try to say what I believe. I try to make sure that my conversation, my words, support me not feeling like I know everything about the market. It's just something that I personally do. That I recommend that we all use, that you don't say guarantees. This is what it's got to do. This is what because the market's going to do what it wants to do. But essentially, now that we've taken out these lows, what I believe price does is we move into test previous structure. How do I find the previous structure? This is where price came to and rejected from, right? So this area here is extremely important. What price does next is extremely important. Do we reject from, I'm going to delete this for now. Do we reject from here? If we reject from here, it creates my perfect 61.8 setup here to back into structure and then price trades away. Remember, all of this was made up. I just, played with my levels. You know what I'm saying? If we break lower, then I'll just readjust this to wherever we trade to, and I still will use the fibs the exact same way. But you guys, we're in profits there. Everything's already rolling. These are all good signs. Let me know if there's anything specifically that you got. Oh, USD CAD. I hope I didn't miss that one also. If USD CAD is up like 40 pips right now, it's not. Okay, cool. But we did get this crazy big bullish move previously. I don't like this structure at all. I'm not even gonna look at this chart. I ain't even gonna lie to you. This is not my. We do have a higher low. So we have, let me see, peak low, higher low. Cool. Highs, breached highs. Highs, breached highs. Cool. This is how I would take the USD CAD trade. I'm not taking a USD CAD trade, but I wouldn't take it where it's at now. I'd look, wait a minute, that's cool. I appreciate that because that falls in alignment with everything that I was saying about the dollar. That if the dollar sells, things like USD CHF should sell, which means USD CAD would also sell. That would be like in this area here, we'd see a pull away from there. Anyways, you guys, that's all I have for you guys for this today so far. Um, I'm sick. Oh, oh, I'm sick, yo, and I can't even like. I'm so upset, man. Oh my gosh. Oh, oh my goodness, yo. Oh, bruh. Yo, I took this trade on every single one of my accounts, and I got stopped out at break even. Now I got to try to see what to do next because there's no FOMO. We're not going to do that. I missed my orders, so 9,400 I think is out. Um, all right. So Jigamain, let's go ahead and this is where we're going to take partial profit. So if you did take that trade, which I believe you said you took the Euro NZD trade, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you go ahead and close out 50% of your trade. If you're on your live account and you traded with a 0.10, lot size, let's close out 0.05. If you closed out, 0.02, let's close out 0.01, whatever it is, let's close out half of that now. Just because we can see this structure, this would be my take profit one right here. That's 120 pips take profit one. Stop playing, bruh. Who's doing that? Who is doing that? You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing. We could see rejections here, right? We could also see price continue to just break through above and then retest here. I always secure profits because we can just enter again. So once we break above this structure, I'm going to be looking to re-enter this trade because the real trade that I'm looking to take this to is to 1.9750. If I got in low enough, then I just wouldn't close any of my trades. And when price pulled back, I would just enter more. You know what I'm saying? But since I kind of didn't get a chance to enter, I'm going to be looking for price to trade above here, and then I'm going to look for another entry, right? We want to make sure that price doesn't just use this imbalance and then trade back into that. Maybe we see price. Oh, let me not move that line. I'll use a different one. Which line can I use? Maybe we see price break above and then we trade back stop loss to 1.949, 1.9495. Uh, uh, it's cool. You can, hold it. It's because it's booming. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm, because it's booming. But I feel like 1.95 could get hit very easily. I would put it below the candle, at least give it one candle, right? Or if you want to use like sometimes I do some weird stuff. I do a lot of weird things on the charts, you guys. I just be experimenting. But sometimes what you can do is you can take the actual candle that we're trading in right now, right? And I would want to put my stop loss at least below the 70% of that candle. So 1.947 might be better, you know what I mean? Underneath the 61.8, just in case price decides that it wants to pull back to the 61.8, which would take you out at 1.95 and then pull away from there. You know what I'm saying? But blessings to you, my brother. That is a beautiful trade for anybody who's like, you was like, yo, do we enter now? Are you in the trade? Hey, you in the trade. Hey, you up a bag. So I ain't mad at you. Make sure that you go ahead and you drop your results in the group and be like, yep, I ain't missing another one of these outlook calls. Our NZD USD is pulling away. GB Euro USD is still sitting here. Euro USD hasn't moved, but NZD USD has moved. That is in alignment with our AUD JPY. If you guys probably don't even understand that, but there's an alignment there. But anyways, with that being said, you guys, that's all I have for you this week. I'm gonna check the chat one more time, see if there is anything that we have here. And if not, oh, where's my trades at? Let's see. Beautiful. Did I close out? Yeah, so we got another $100. We've taken. I am going to. There's this gap down here. I know that's what I should wait for. John's gonna work with me. I got one of my mentors here who's gonna work with me because I'll be like, yo, I should take my money. Like I have a problem because if I held that trade alone, that would be $500, but I'm up $300. But I'm gonna be grateful, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be working on my exits as well, so I can make sure I am gonna exit this trade though, just because I believe price could pull back into here, and I'm grateful. I'm up 300 for the day, uh, and the days just got started. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that we could get a pullback into here, and maybe I look to re-enter, tomorrow or later on. AUD JPY. Let me guys show you how my AUD JPY is shaking out. This is on. So we did that on one account, and then we have AUD JPY that is currently floating pretty well on the other account. That one is moving pretty smoothly, you know what I'm saying? And I would say, you guys, that is a win for the day today. You know what I'm saying? That's all that we could ask for on a live preparation session. This session was only meant to be preparation for the week ahead. I wasn't, expecting, I always expect that there's going to be opportunities that God will bless me with, because I'm open and I'm available and I'm receiving all of the opportunities that he has for me. But, this goal was essentially to just get prepared for the week and see, what it is that we are, what the potential is for the week ahead. But we were able to, make a couple of dollars. This is I'm so upset by this, yo. I shouldn't be upset, but I really like, because Euro NZD is my trade. That is my baby right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, she left without me, man. I thought we had a better understanding than that. Thought she was gonna wait for me, bruh. I was trying to get my people right. She said, if you ain't on my timing, I ain't waiting on you. Anyways, you guys, with that being said, I hope you had who's okay. Let me see. One more check of the chat. One more check of the chat. And thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hold on. Where you see Euro NZD 1.975. I do see pullbacks right here because I'm gonna get in. She might have left, but she gonna come back for me. We got a thing going on. You know what I'm saying? She was a little bit anxious to get out of here, but she got to come back for me. You cannot leave without me. I'm not having it. So this is probably what I'm going to be waiting for. I don't want to see the rejections here anymore. If I want to get long, I want to see us make a new high. I want to see us trade like a little bit above here, and then the pullbacks will come. And then I'll be looking to enter on the pullbacks. Maybe the pullbacks come at like the base of this wick, right in here where price is, at this previous structure. But we should eventually get, maybe even if we pull into here, we should get a pullback to re-enter. And I'm up from there, you guys. With that being said, you guys, hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Gold is doing the thing. right now. There should be more opportunities coming up all week this week. You guys can't even see my charts anymore. I don't know why I'm like looking at it still. Anyways, you guys, until next time, thank you guys so much for joining me. Look forward to connecting with you guys again soon. Peace.